Hey guys, welcome back to Maxplained, Dawn of War Unification. Today I have another faction guide for you, this time for the angry space elves, the Eldar. I had one for the previous version, but they got so much new stuff that I make a full-on new guide video explaining everything again, and of course all the new units and new stuff. One of the new units you see right away here, that is Eldred Ulthran or whatever I think it's a he. His name is, it's a Farseer. There are more Farseers now. As for those who don't know anything about Eldar, they are fast and elusive, have high damage but are fragile. Yeah, they are mobile and will hurt you how should I say, beat you where it hurts and then run away laughing, kind of a thingy. And as usual, we will now jump into the save game to talk about everything in detail. And here we are in the save game, and before we talk about buildings and units, we will as usual talk about resources and unit caps. Resources are standard requisition and power. Requisition is also gained, and both are gained the normal way by lithing posts, capturing points, building generators and thermoplasma generators. One thing that is special but not really completely unique about Eldar economy is that you can get the second economy upgrade. You get one, and then the second one you get in tier 2.5. So the first one in tier 2 and the second one in tier 2.5. This is the same for the power upgrade, so you can have quite the economy boom in tier 2 if you so desire. Units caps are interesting. You have the more or less standard 10 infantry squad cap and the 0 vehicle/support cap. You get +3/+3 for every web brigade. Web brigades are unlimited, so you can build them as much as you like. So you get squad cap by building these, but you get also vehicle cap increase by the support portal, which gives you +3, and the Titan building, as the most Titans building do, gives you +4 vehicle cap. Something that is also most people don't know or forget about is that the Farseer, and now that we have 2 more Farseers, each of the Farseers, you can only have one, gives you +1 infantry cap as well. Very special or cool is that you can increase your max cap, which is normally 2020 as the standard, by building the Avatar of Cain, which is one of your relic units. The Avatar of Cain has some buffs to your buildings and units, but also your caps get your max cap and get increased from 2020 to 24 and 30. So quite a lot of vehicle cap increase. You will need to build web brigades and stuff to reach that cap, but your max cap is much higher than this. That's about the caps, and now we will talk about the buildings. The first building we will talk about is the web brigade, and not about what it produces or what you can do with it. In particular, you can it enables you to use one ability that most buildings have, that is called relocate. You need to research that in the web brigade, then you can use relocate. Relocate is used by buildings. Oh, 1 second please. Where was I? Yeah, relocate is used by most buildings oops, I don't want to upgrade that, but you can use relocate to relocate to another web brigade. Only web brigades counts, no listening posts, no HQs, just web brigades count. You can relocate there, and then it takes a few seconds. It cannot be targeted here. It is still on the original position. So even if you see them coming in, you cannot fire at it, but you can fire at the web brigade. But the web brigade has also another ability, and that's the shroud ability, that can shroud nearby buildings. Shroud buildings, but not units. So this builder here is not shrouded, it only shrouds buildings. And the last one is a passive aura that increases health regeneration by units around, also pretty useful. And you see now this support platform is here and not here. You can use it basically on all buildings apart from web brigades itself, and of course listening posts, because they are on the ground, and thermoplasma generators. Everything else, including the Titan building, can be relocated. Web brigades have another special use. They can hold up to 10 units you can put inside one and get out on every other. It has a little wind up time, And yeah, then you can get them out anywhere on the map, which is really helpful in late game scenarios, or if you want to ambush a unit, get them around anywhere. In particular, I will talk later about it, but your builder can teleport quite long distances behind enemy lines, can build a web brigade, and then 10 squads pour out of there and surprise the enemy. So this is part of the faction special thingies you can do with Eldar. Okay, let's go through the other buildings. They glow red because I have the Avatar of Cain. Avatar of Cain increases the production speed of all buildings, I think, so now they glow red. You have your HQ. Your HQ gets your builder, your first capping unit in the Guardian, which can also fight very well. Later on you get the CEO Council and stuff, and some special units inside. It is also the place where you get your tier 3 research. Unit production is mainly done by the aspect portal, where you have all your different infantry, the one Farseer, the standard Farseer you could say, and the Avatar of Cain. The other production for your heroes and stuff is done by the web brigade. In vanilla only these two platforms could be produced here, but now more Farseer variants and some heroes, special heroes we will talk about later, commanders, are located here, as well as 2 variants of jet bikes, tier 2 jet bikes. Support portal in tier 2 is your place where you can get all your different vehicles, including some more or less infantry walkers in the Wraith Blades and Wraith Guard here, some flyer units as well. And then you have your Titan building your Greater Webway support gate, which gives you your tier 1 and tier 2 Titan, but also some super heavy vehicles we will talk later. Research is mainly done by your Soul Shrine. It has more researches than you see here, because I have done them already. The Soul Shrine, which acts also as your tier 2 building, and has the research for tier 4 inside. Research, some minor research is also done in the web brigade, the aspect portal, your HQ, and your support portal for upgrades for like vehicles, some special upgrades for infantry, and some upgrades for heroes and whatnot, and guardians are done in the HQ. Economy wise, I have here the listening posts and plasma generators, so I told you that it's nothing special here. And for the defense, you have of course your listening posts that get a little anti-infantry, and then later bright lenses for anti-vehicle on them. You have also support platforms, which are your anti-infantry and then your anti-vehicle if you upgrade them in tier 2. Special about the support platform upgraded is that it, what was it called? A D-cannon. Has quite a long range, long reload time, but has a big burst and AoE attack, which does mainly, and I mean mainly, very specialized against a vehicle. It does basically no damage against, let's say, infantry or demons. It's very specialized in anti-vehicle. Then you also have a minefield, which is your standard minefield. It's infiltrated and explode if someone walks over it. Is this everything about the buildings? Let me think for a bit. I think so. The big part is the relocate, that is very special. Yes. Let's talk about the units. And for the units, we first and foremost talk about the builder, which has quite the thing going for him. It's the Bone Singer here. The Bone Singer by itself is very fragile, but has a melee attack with this little sword here, which can be used to tie up range squads if you feel brave. It can build and repair, can teleport, as I said. It starts on cooldown, but the range for the teleport is insane. So it's very good to teleport behind enemy lines and help your army, for example. You can help your army with the ability you need to research Wraith Tomb. This ability is, for some matchups, the most broken ability in the world. It stuns a building that cannot produce, that cannot fire back. It can be used against basically every faction if you have a fortified position and want to stun a turret or a listening post from firing. This is very good. Very, very good is it against factions that have only one production/tech buildings. First and foremost, Necrons. Necrons suffer from it. You can use it on the monolith. And you can use it also against AdMech, which also have only one production building. But it's also very good, for example, against 13th Company, which also mainly produce from the one barracks they build. Some special thing about Wraith Tomb is that it lasts up to 30 seconds, but if your Bonesinger dies, if you just jump in, click it, and it dies immediately, it lasts only 10 seconds. It's like it checks every 10 seconds if the Bonesinger is alive. After 10 seconds, if it's dead, it stops. Then if it's alive, it lasts another 10 seconds, checks again, is the Bonesinger dead? Yes, then it stops. If not, it lasts another 10 seconds, so for 30 seconds in total, and then it doesn't check anymore. So 30 is the longest duration, but if you get your monolith or whatever blocked from a Bonesinger, try to snipe it so it doesn't last as long. Now your tier 1 commander units. You have your Farseer carries, whatever the name is from the campaign. You can enable her by the hero war gear victory condition. She has quite a lot of different traits. Fleet of Foot have most units. We will now talk about Fleet of Foot because it's the first unit can use it. Fleet of Foot need to be researched in HQ, and almost all infantry units have Fleet of Foot. Fleet of Foot increases the movement speed by a squad by 50%, but also reduces the accuracy of the squad by, I don't know how much, but I think also 50%. So you need to toggle it on and off whenever you want to move and attack. So this is the big Eldar micro where you move in, you activate Fleet of Foot, move in, you press stop, and also press F. The hotkey F is your best friend as Eldar. Press F to also stop Fleet of Foot, so you can actually fire with the full accuracy you have. She also has a lot of other abilities. She has Psychic Storm, which is a ground target or squad target, anti-infantry damage mainly. If you target on ground, it targets all units it touches in the first second, and you can also use it target on a squad, so it takes also the damage full. Mind War is a single target spell, mostly used against commanders or builders. If you want to snipe something, use this. Then you have also Guide, which increases the accuracy of a squad. Accuracy, keep in mind, also most melee attacks have some chance to miss, so don't only use it on ranged squads, but also on melee squads if you so desire. And then tier 2 spell you can research is Eldritch Storm. The Eldritch Storm is a big old storm which does damage against all targets, but is very well suited against vehicles and buildings as well. Quite a long radius you can see here. In this one, the Soulstorm is a special ability she gets from one of the hero war gear thingies that lets her avoid death. It's basically if you have 1 HP and take another damage, you do not die. There are also some other passive bonuses from the hero war gear, like the weapons, of course, you deal more damage, but also more recharge rate for all your spells, true sight in detection, and a healing aura. She also gets a damage reduction aura, which you can research. A lot of good stuff for her. Now we'll jump over to see what the other leaders can do. Okay, the other leader is the Farseer Maka. You get from the webway gate, and if you have an aspect portal, so pretty much more or less the same requirements as the Farseer herself. She's more melee based. She has a pistol here, but no damage listed for it, but that is basically most likely a bug. Is really good in melee. Gets Fleet of Foot and Guide as well. Eldritch Storm as well, researched in tier 2. I think she also gets the aura, damage reduction aura, but don't quote me on that one. I would need to look in my own Techtrees again. And then you have the Psycho Blast. With the Farseer, this is basically a blast around herself. So you cannot target it. If you click it, she makes a big blast around herself. Looks like Eldritch Storm or Psychic Storm does knockback and whatnot. Very good against demons and infantry, it says. Vehicles are totally protected. Yeah. So it's a blast around herself, which more focuses or tells you that she is melee focused. And we have one very special Farseer Eldred Ulth run. Come on. I think it's he. An amazing gift to Psycho. Eldred was... Give me something. Is he or she? he can predict. So it's a male Farseer. I don't know lore or anything, but it sounds like something special. He can be built in tier 1 as well, but you need a critical location. So you need to, if you want to have him on the field quickly, you need to rush a critical location. Of course, he has a fleet of foot, but then he has very special abilities here. I haven't researched Eldritch Storm. He also gets Eldritch Storm, and he also gets Force of Azurium. I don't try to even get this name done. This increases armor and damage by nearby troops. You can see it here. I think it gives a little effect. I don't know, there are too much effects going on here, but I think this little glory thing increases the damage and resistance. Really nice. It has Doom, which you can target on a unit, and it's a permanent effect on the squad or unit as long as Eldritch is alive or a newer squad is chosen. It says more damage in common, so it's a damage increase. And then as well, one is very special, Astral Protection. It takes some health of him, so you can't cast it when you're on low life. And you get this protection, this very fast projection, which is unkillable. It does not take damage. It degrades over time, does damage itself, and can tie up squads and whatnot. Really good to summon and move in, so it soaks up the damage, and then you walk in with your squads. All these spells are available in tier 1. Eldritch Storm, of course, needs to be researched. And Temporal Weave you have here, you get if you have both hero commander upgrades done. Let's see again what this does. I forgot, sorry. The area affected temporary is extreme. All enemies within are put into stasis, unable to move. So it's a stun, an AoE stun. Costs also a lot of power. Oh, it's around himself. Ah, yeah, he's like floaty and stuff. I really like the animation on that one. This is like, it really looks like the from Dawn of War 2, the Farseer ability, where she jumps high and does some stuff and whatever, levitation field or whatever it's called there. So it's really costly, so it's more of a late game thingy, but very powerful if used like in the midst of an enemy army that is temporarily stunned and all your units still can fire. Another commander you have access to is the Harlequin. We need to change to computer 2, right? Yes. Harlequin is a tier 2 commander unit, where it's an anti-commander commander, you could say. Very high damage with its authority against commanders. Can use the Harlequin's Kiss. You can click it on a unit, and it's only targetable on infantry, not commanders. Does like 3,000 damage or something ridiculous on one a squad member of the squad, and does some damage in AoE, but yeah, basically insta kills a singular model that is not a commander. And then you have the Dance of Death, where if an enemy is nearby, you can click it and then it will disrupt the hell out of the enemies, where it just jumps everywhere and disrupts them. Damage isn't like the highest, but the disruption is really, really insane. Also pretty good moves if you ask me. The other 3 commander units you have access to from your web brigade are specialized leaders for some squads. You have here the Phoenix Lord, Mornsong. I just call him Mornsong. He's on a jet bike. He's your jet bike leader, has ranged and melee attacks, can jump around as all jet bikes can do, and has a toggle here, Mighty Charge. The Mighty Charge basically disables the ranged weapon but gives his melee more power. Let's just read again if he is faster. Let's just try it out. Is he faster now? No, he's not faster, but his melee attack does more damage, but his ranged weapon get disabled. So this is a toggle. If you go into melee, click it. Quite big health pool as well, so you can use him pretty good. All these commanders here are locked behind tier 3. The Harlequin, I forgot to tell you about, is a tier 2 commander. Let's jump over to the next leader, who has also a pretty long-winded name. Phoenix Lord Maugan Ra. Okay, not that much. He is basically a Dark Reaper commander. Look at all the skulls and whatnot. He symbolizes death and whatnot. Has the fleet of foot ability, but nothing actively again. The passive ability is really good. Boosts morale when leading a squad. But if he leads Dark Reapers, they strike with true accuracy. So if that is true, what is written there, 100% accuracy is a big damage boost. Get my calculator here. I think that Dark Reapers have a base accuracy of 70%. So if you have then 100% accuracy, it's a damage buff about 40%, 43% damage DPS boost, which is immense. So if you go for him, attach him to a Dark Reaper squad ASAP and see them shred the enemy. Now we will hopefully, no, need to do it again. Is this the right one? Yes, the last one is Phoenix Lord Jane Saar. Jane Saar is a Howling Banshee leader, if you can't tell. She's pretty fast, can be attached to more squads, but you would want to attach her to Banshees. We will read later why. She also has the Dance of Death ability, which is similar to the Harlequin ability, has Mask of Jane Saar. Sorry. Damages enemy morale and causes confusion to nearby enemies. She has Fleet of Foot and has the Silent Death Throw, which is a targeted ability that does damage. She uses her little boomerang thingy here. Inflicts additional damage to the original target on its strikes. Fires in a straight line, but the first target does, it hits, it deals the most damage, and then it teleports back. Really nice. Now let's read if she's equipped. Boosts morale as well as he did. When lead Banshees, they strike faster due to her unending cry of war. So they also get like faster attack reload, you could say. Attack faster, so they deal also more damage. How much it's not stated, but yeah, the true accuracy thingy is like a big boost. And this one, yeah, also if you put into Banshees, which are really good late game as well, tier 3, with all the armor upgrades and the what is it called, shout, cry of war, or whatever it's called. Research Banshees can be really pain in tier 2 and tier 3. If you get a Phoenix Lord, attach them to one squad and they will do quite the work, I want to say. Okay, that's the command of the way. Let's talk about one and only demonic unit, which is the Avatar of Cain, or just called Avatar here now, not Cain. I'm not sure why. He is combat-wise okay-ish, not the strongest in melee, or let's say not the strongest melee relic unit, you could say. Regularly getting made fun of him because he is, he doesn't regenerate quite a lot. But you can see here, inspires infantry near him, making them immune to morale damage, basically unbreaking. So you might see him, this big guy with the big sword and everything. You want to send him in. Think of him more as a support, please. So he can make your units unbreakable. He makes your units produce faster, and he increases your caps. So you want to have him alive as much as you can. You can send it into melee, but don't overestimate his strengths there. He is very good for the passives he provides you, not for the actual combat capabilities. So think of him as that. Now we will jump over to the infantry, and the infantry is very interesting. We have a lot of different variations. You can see here quite a lot of different squads. The first one is the Guardian squad. It looks a little bit different here as they turn into Dire Avengers in tier 3, giving them better armor and damage, I think. But otherwise the squad is the same. You can get 2 leaders, the Warlock, which gives them access to Entanglement, which is a short duration route, Embolden, which increases their maximum morale, Fleet of Foot they get also, and Plasma Grenades needs to be researched. Let's quickly look what the Dire Avenger exact does. Creates a force field protection from melee attacks, so they get a little melee damage reduction. So that's the Guardians. It's a primary squad you want to have around. Very useful if Plasma Grenades are researched early and you have like 3 or 4 squads. There are also build orders where you get only dire Avengers, only Guardian squads, and do work with them. In tier 1 you also have access to Rangers. Rangers are limited to 1. Start not infiltrated, they need to get a research to get infiltrated. Have long range, they do not deal the most damage, but they do quite a lot of morale damage. So if you want to demoralize enemies and basically make them unable to fight, because with morale broken your damage you deal is like only a fraction of the damage you normally deal, you have this utility ranger squad, you could say. If you want range damage in tier 1, which most people want, it's a Dark Reaper squad. Dark Reapers are your bread and butter in tier 1 and early tier 2 for damage. They do good damage against infantry all around, have pretty good range, but need to set up. So if you want to the perfect micro, you send them in with fleet of foot, then you press stop and press fleet of foot off, and then they shoot. Then you move back again, stop, fleet of foot off, and then they can fire again. They have this cool leader here, the Dark Reaper Exarch. The Dark Reaper Exarch not only has like 2 guns instead of 1, he also increases the damage of the squad, of all units in the squad, by 15%, including himself. But yeah, so you get him and you get more damage. This is something most Exarchs do, actually, increase the damage. Not the morale or anything, just more damage for the squad. So getting a Dark Reaper Exarch as the first unit, they start off with 3 of 5 units, and getting the Exarch first is quite a cool thing, because then your 3 existing units also deal more damage. He is quite expensive though, so yeah, a lot of build orders where you get only Dark Reapers, and a lot of them, because they are just that good. The last tier 1 unit you have access to are Howling Banshees. Howling Banshees are your melee specialist unit. Have fleet of foot can get the washout if you get the upgrade for it, which gives them the washout ability, which deals damage and morale damage around them for a quick period of time. It pulses a bit, and they have this really good Howling Banshee Exarch, which also increases the damage of the squad. And this ability that gives it washout in tier 2 also increases the health, damage, and basically everything of the squad morale, making this not only gives you this ability, but overall increases the effectiveness of Howling Banshees, and also gives the leader another weapon, this cool looking spear here, which does also quite a lot of damage. So don't think the upgrade you can get in tier 2 only is good for this one ability. It increases the effectiveness of the whole squad. Okay, with that out of the way, yeah, but one thing, as we thought the upgrade is so good, without the upgrade they are okay-ish, but nothing you really want to have in tier 1. They really get online in tier 2 with their upgrade, and then some people just leave them on fleet of foot, look how fast they am, and just tie up squads and leave them on fleet of foot on, and not turning it off, so they can always connect and yeah, annoy the enemy. And the argument is that if you move slower, you will not get as many attacks as if you move faster, and that also kind of balances out with your accuracy being lower, but you get more chances to hit, and also you tie up the enemy squad better. So melee squads for Eldar are sometimes put in fleet of foot on and then left on for that reason. Tier 2 enables you to get quite a lot of more squads. You can get the Fire Dragons. The Fire Dragons are short-ranged anti-vehicle with their fusion guns. Special about them is that they have basically Terminator armor, heavy infantry, high armor class, so they are very durable to put in the front line as well. They can, but however, easily be tied up as they have the short-ranged. Anything, even a, let's say, Imperial Guard Techtrees can tie them up, because their melee damage is basically non-existent. So keep good care of them if you want to have them to deal any damage, basically. A better but limited anti-vehicle solution are the Shadow Spectres, which are also enabled in tier 2. They have longer range guns. They are infiltrated if not moving or shooting. If they shoot or move, they get have their shroud ability disabled for the duration. They can also jump. They can use plasma crates and research and have this ability. This ability changes their fire mode to be anti-infantry for a short duration, and then they get back to the vehicle. So if you have to choose, you always want to get the Shadow Spectres, but the Shadow Spectres are limited to 1 squad, and that's for good reason, so your Fire Dragons don't get obsolete. These are also not as tanky. They show more health, but they have a lower armor class. The bigger armor class for Fire Dragons really makes them tanky quite a bit. A new unit in 6.9 as well is the Striking Scorpions. It's a tier 2 melee superiority squad. They start off being better than Banshees in tier 2. Banshees get with the upgrades and stuff a little more tanky, but these Striking Scorpions also benefit from the infiltration research. So you have infiltrated melee units that also can have fleet of foot and plasma grenades. They also have a Exarch Shadow Strike, which is enabled by the same research that enables the War Shout here. It does not deal the damage, but increases the movement speed of the Striking Scorpions. It will not work together with Fleet of Foot. It use either or. If you use this one, you can get your full accuracy and also move faster for the duration. So they are really, really fast, you can see here. And so for this duration, you really want to take off Fleet of Foot, so you have the full damage while also being fast. There are 2 tier 0.5 units where you need your vehicle building. The first one is Warp Spiders here. The Warp Spiders are anti-infantry specialists that are really slow on foot but can teleport. The teleportation, you have right from the get-go 2 teleports, so they can like trap enemy infantry and shoot them down. Really powerful. They have an Exarch, which also increases the damage of the squad, so you want to get him as fast as you can. He also gets like 2 guns where your normal squads only get 1, so he is pretty good combat-wise on its own. And in tier 3 you can get Haywire Bombs, and it's pretty similar to the tier 2 upgrade for Banshees, where you think, okay, I get this upgrade. I take the bet. I think Warp Spiders really only get the Haywire Bomb. In my head it was like, yeah, Eldar is special in that way, but I think it's only the upgrade for the Banshees. The Haywire Grenade just gives you quote-unquote just a Haywire Grenade, which is a short-range kind of melter bomb you can think of. Really useful against some vehicles. So you have this anti-infantry specialist squad, which can deal with some smaller vehicles as well. Tier 3 though, so yeah, I would get it anyway, but yeah, anti-infantry for the most part. Another new unit is the Swooping Hawks. You can see here with their really cool wings and floating around. These do basically anti-everything, more or less. They also deal with some vehicles and buildings with their guns. Have an Exarch, which probably also increases the damage of the squad. They can jump instead of teleport and use Haywire Bombs. Now you say, why would I ever use Warp Spiders if I have these anti-everything units? First of all, they can jump, not teleport, so they will get attacked when they fly. And now compare the health. The Warp Spider health is almost triple, or let's say 2.5 times the health of the Swooping Hawks. The Swooping Hawks die like flies. You want to keep them out of the firing zone. They have the same price you see here. Deal more damage against vehicles and buildings, so they are more your anti-everything, but yeah, really, really frail compared to your more or less tanky Warp Spiders. So they have both their niches to use, and yeah, these guys are really expensive to maintain, because anything that kills them from afar, or even some fast melee squads that can teleport in and whatnot, will shred them really fast. In tier 3 you get access to the Seer Council squad from your HQ. Seer Council is a squad of warlocks, so they are counted as commander armor, so they really strong armor class. They also have the passive ability which decreases range damage they take, so they, I think 50% or something ridiculous. So the main squad for the Seer Council is to soak up damage. You get them in, they're also really expensive to reinforce, as you can see here, but they just don't die. Send them in, make the fleet of foot on, and then just the red stands, and yeah, forget about them basically. You can also use Embolden, which is not really useful as you have a lot of morale from the get-go, but these guys are really good damage sponges. They also have a leap ability, which also disrupts enemy lines, so they are really utility. They have some damage as well, as you can see, but more of a sponge, and you're pretty in the need of a tanky unit at some point, especially entering tier 3, so very useful in that regard. The two last infantry class units here are produced from your vehicle support portal, because they are a mixture of vehicle and infantry. They cost 3 infantry cap and 1 vehicle cap. These are the Wraith Blades and Wraith Guard. Wraith Blades are the melee variant. You can see here with this cool looking shield and sword. They can get dual swords where they lose this one excuse me, shield and get another sword. They can get the Spirit Seer. Spirit Seer is very needed for them because they are really slow. The Spirit Seer gives them, I think, a passive boost in movement speed. Oh, this was wrong. 8 blades. Let's see how they move here. Yeah, they're really slow. And with the Spirits here, they are a little faster, I think. A little faster, but they can also use the fleet-of-foot ability now, which actually allows them to enter combat. Before that, it was really no real way of getting in. The entanglement ability, yes, is also got by the Spirit Seer here, which is the short duration root ability they have. For all the different Warlock and Xeor Council abilities, you need to research Mysticism from the HQ, which is quite expensive, but you can see there are a lot of different units benefiting from them. The range variant, the Wraith Guard, are more commonly seen on the battlefield. They also get the Spirit Seer for entanglement and fleet of foot, and they have this really mean looking guns here, and can upgrade to Bright Lances, Dark Cannons, Shadow Weavers and Vibro Cannons. I'm totally honest here, I do not know which weapons are the best for them. I know that Bright Lances are very good against vehicles, and Star Cannons are really good against infantry and light vehicles, but what a Shadow Weaver does and what a Vibro Cannon does and what they do with the main weapons, I'm not sure. It says that they are good against heavy infantry buildings and demons, which is basically everything. So maybe they are good against everything with their basic guns, but can upgrade to sometimes very expensive guns. Look at these Shadow Weavers, 90 power, so they need to be good, I think. Let's see, it's medium to long range, anti-infantry, anti-morale, small AOE, knockback effect. So these are more in maybe shotgun kind of. And the Vibro Cannons, stationary to fire, cannot fire aircraft. So it's, I don't know. If you are an Eldar expert in Unification, please let me know what you think of these weapons here, and I may pin your comment for the viewers. Whew. This is now all the different infantry out of the way. Now jump over to the vehicles, and oh god, are there a lot of vehicles now. We will start with the non-Titan vehicles for now. The first vehicles you get access to are in tier 2, the Falcon, which is a really nifty transport. You can transport that can jump is also very useful. Imagine that you're like really exhausted in tier 1 because you had to micro all your Dark Reapers all the time. Now you have this Falcon tank. Just put 2 Dark Reapers in, jump over, unload, fire, load in and jump back again wherever you want to go. Really nice to have. Really strong transport. Has little bright lance and some I think, what is this, scatter laser, so it's good against infantry, and has some sort of anti-vehicle. Can get a Star Cannon to double down on anti-infantry, which I would not recommend to go. The little bright lance it has is the better option most of the time. You also get access to this Viper. This is an Eldar on this really looking kind of bike looking thingy here. The Viper is very good against vehicles and aircraft because it has like a missile launcher here on the top attached to it. The missile launcher also is really good for disruption, so you can also target infantry, but don't expect it to deal damage. It's mostly there for disruption. It can also jump. It's, for example, very good against some Necron players that do not have upgraded turrets in their base. You can jump in, snipe some generators, and then jump out again. Really good for that. That's tier 2. I'm not sure in tier 3 if these Wind Riders, no, they are tier 2 as well. Tier 2.5 are the Wind Riders, which are your bike squad here, vehicle armor. Can get also the Warlock Rider, which gives them the entanglement and the Bolton. The jump ability they have right away. So they can only use ranged attacks, so no melee for them. And another very special bike squad are the Shroud Runners. That's basically rangers on bikes. You see that they are infiltrated, so they also benefit from the infiltration research. They are, as you may already suggest, do a lot of morale damage. So your support, you can think of support bikes. Another squad. Oh, I forgot in tier 2. We are in tier 3 already in mind. No, tier 2. Tier 2, yes, we are still tier 2. And tier 2 you can also get the Wraith Lord. This guy with his Wraith Blade and whatnot. Really, really strong in melee, but also don't underestimate his weapon in range. So you can use it in range, especially if you get an applied lance. This was in vanilla your go-to anti-vehicle in tier 2 because it has quite a range once upgraded. So you would see a lot of Wraith Lords just standing there using their shoulder-mounted bright lance, which is no joke. So basically you can use it in melee if the opportunity rises, but other than that you can also use them really good in ranged combat. Entering tier 4, you get access to the Shuriken Cannon platform, which is an anti-infantry platform, costs only 1 vehicle cap, really effective in what it does, but the better option most of the time is this Bright Lance platform. This Bright Lance here is anti-vehicles, as you would suggest, but this Bright Lance is special over other Bright Lances that it also sunders enemy armor, so it increases the damage the enemy takes. So really good for taking down big enemy tanks, for example. You can stick it on there and all units firing that enemy will also do more damage against the enemy. Really, really important in later game stages. In tier 2 you get also access to the Warwalker. I forgot about this. This is a new unit as well. Warwalker by default has this anti-infantry weapons, but can get also star cannons to double down on anti-infantry, a scatter laser also for against anti-infantry, but also bright lances and missile launchers for anti-vehicle, and missile launchers also of course for some disruption. Tier 4, now finally you get access to fire prisons. Fire prisons are long range, not so long as I remember, medium range craft tanks which can also jump around. Has the scatter laser and this prism cannon here, really good against everything basically. And then new addition to it is this Corsair Warp Hunter here. Look at this big mean looking gun. Yes, it has a longer range, more of your, you could think of artillery kind of thingy, but can also jump around. So all these units can jump around and are very mobile, apart from the shuriken cannons and the walker here you see here. I think the warwalker can also not jump for Eldar. The last thing here is this Wraith Knight. The Wraith Knight is a relic unit. You can either have him or the avatar. I don't think you can have both. Has two shoulder-mounted shuriken cannons. You can see here has this sword and shield, but can be upgraded to dual Wraith cannons on the arms or dual sun cannons on the arms, and the shoulders can be upgraded either by scatter lasers and bright lenses, or both if you want to have anti-infantry or anti-vehicles. Don't upgrade his melee units, his arms, if you want to use him in melee though, because he will lose his sword. With the basic units out of the way, let's jump over to the heavy, how should I say, super heavies and titan units. The super heavies are all skimmers. They can all jump using the same chassis as you can see here. Health is already all the same, but they have different weapons. This has a big old bright lance, I think it looks like. This one has two other units. Don't really quote me on what they have. They have weapons and are good and some special. There are a few that are very special. One of these are the Storm Servant, because it can just summon a Guardian Squad out of nowhere. And because it's tier 3 and onwards, it's not a Guardian Squad, it's a Dire Avenger Squad. Has a cooldown, costs you as much requisition as normal Guardians would cost, but you can have them in the field, which I find interesting. Then you have this Cobra, which also has special weapons. You would need to read through what they are good against. It shows somewhat in the unit card, but also not. The unit card is mostly a lie, you know that by now. And then you have the Void Spinner, which I find most interesting because it's an it's an artillery unit, and you cannot go wrong with artillery units, if you ask me. And there's also a sixth one, which is only survival. It's a survival reinforcement if you play on harder or insane. I will not show it here because it's the only special survival unit. So just keep in mind that there is 6 ones in survival. Your titans you have access to is your Remnant Titan. This is your tier 1 Titan, has this big old bright lenses. I think on the top is really fast. I think it's the fastest Titan for its class. Can use the jump ability, has access to get sonic lances left and right, and has 2 abilities. The one is enhanced race-prone regeneration, so this increases his regeneration rate, but I think he cannot fire and jump. Will not able to use its weapon, so you can use it to heal up in the backlines if you jump back, and then you get the Gravity Booster, which increases the movement speed but decreases the accuracy. Basically a fleet of foot for this Remnant Titan tier. He also has this shield, which is represented by this morale bar here. Your tier 2 Titan is this really big old Phantom Titan here, which is basically just a bigger version of this one with less utility. You cannot jump, but it has bigger weapons and bigger firepower, has the missile launchers and this really mean looking weapons as well. So he is the big brother doing more damage but has less utility, you could say. Also has some sort of shield, I think, but has no morale, so I think it's more or less a passive that it takes a little less damage. Last but not least, we will talk about the air units. The air units in vanilla is the Nightwing. The Nightwing has bright lances attached. I think he also learned how to fire them on ground targets now, so he is a little more useful in that regard. Can get an upgrade from the support portal here, which gives him high regeneration. I think it increases the regeneration by 10 health per second, so really big health regeneration. So you can, if you micro them out of the combat, they will regenerate by themselves quite a lot. You do not really need to repair them. And then you have 2 more air units. You have the Nightwing Interceptor, which is a tier 3. This one is tier 2 and this one is tier 3. Has bright lenses and whatnot. Really, really good. You could call it air superiority unit, but also really good against ground targets. So if you have a tier 3, you can produce them and have a really good support force in the air. And one special unit is the Hemlock Warfighter, which you can get from your HQ. You need to research mysticism and reach tier 3. If you produce it, you cannot get your warlocks out, but this is basically a warlock flyer, you could say. Really good weapons. Does it have more health? Yes, more health. And has one ability, which is the Mind Shock Pod. If it's activated, it deals morale damage around it. So you can use it to fly over enemies, use this ability to drain their morale. Something very special. I have no idea how useful this is in tier 3. If you have a big enemy infantry blob that is mainly anti-infantry, you can use it. If you have an enemy blob that has a lot of anti-vehicle / anti-aircraft units, you normally do not want to charge head in with your flyer. Maybe if the engagement is already going, you can fly over and use it. But in general, it is also a very good combat unit on its own. Whew. I think, let's quickly look at my list here. I think I have it done all. And oh boy, this was a lot of talking, I tell you what. We will now jump into the tech tree, where I will explain to you a bit more where the strong timings for Eldar are, and some of the researches I will talk as well. So see you there. And here we are now in the tech tree document. Something I completely forgot about to tell you is that you have these what's it again, aspects thingies you need to kind of research. These are add-ons to your aspect portal and your support portal. These are aspect zones, I think, called, which enables you to build some units. So you need to get a little add-on similar to Imperial Guard depots to get some units. Some units do not require this, but some do. Just to get that out of the way, normally these are also linked by the what the tech level they are. This is the main placeholder, you could say. The main whatever keeps you from building them is the when you can get the aspect stones. You can see it also in the support portal here. You have these aspect stones, and this one for the warfighter, and this one's for the fire prism and whatnot. Let's quickly talk about some upgrades from the Soul Shrine here. The Soul Shrine you can get in tier 1 is basically your gate to tier 2. You get this. This is the passive damage reduction aura around your Farseer. This is the Eldritch Storm on your Farseer. The upgrade for your Banshees. Then note the Farseer upgrade, which also have some benefits for the other two Farseers, not the only base Farseer, but also the Farseer Maka and Eldritch Ulthran. You get both right away, so you can have a very hero-focused build. Then in tier 2 you get these very mandatory upgrades for your infantry. This Targetus increases your range damage, and these armor increases the HP. You get the second set of them in tier 3. These are, as Eldar, are very infantry heavy, basically mandatory upgrades. As soon as you hit tier 2 or tier 3, get them. Don't be me and forget them half the time and wonder why your units deal no damage and why they die so quickly. So please get them as soon as you can. Some upgrades here. The Hero War Gear is enabled now into your listening posts, as is for 6.9 now the standard. Yeah, you can get a lot of different war gear to get really nice Farseer that does a lot of stuff. One thing I haven't noticed before, or not said before, is that the war gear, as a special request from me, got its price halved. It was really expensive before. Now all the war gear for all factions are halved in price, so they're now kind of affordable. So you can get them if you want to. Little adjustment here as we speak. Yeah, defensive wise we have the platforms and the mines. Let's talk about strong timings. Eldar are really strong in tier 2 from the get-go because the Dark Reapers are really strong. If you can micro them, if you like having multiple squads, you need to click the F, the fleet of foot button for every single squad. So tapping through the squads using the F and having like a lot of APM really benefits you as an Eldar player. Learn these micro and your tier 1 battles will go on your side. So Dark Reapers, as I said, are your bread and butter. They're also really strong in early tier 2, as you can get, or let's say early tier 2, the biggest power spike or unit availability strike is in tier 2.5 with the support portal. You get, why is it not shown here? You get warp spiders, swooping hawks, you get these shroud runners, you get all your vehicles like falcons and wraith lords. Everything is tier 2.5 basically, everything that is really nice. You get your Shout of War upgrade for your Banshees and your striking scorpions. So tier 2.5 is where it strives. You also get the two, I can show you here. Yes, your second economy upgrades as well. So tier 2.5 is where you want to fight, and most Eldar or many Eldars will stay into tier 2.5 for a long time. In tier 3, you also get stuff to fight with, mainly these support platforms that are really strong. Your Warlock command squad, your council, what it's called, is really strong, and your upgrades, of course. So these are your tier 3 units you want to get, maybe even the flying thingy here, Nightshade Interceptor. Yes, a really strong vehicle, and your commanders you can get here in tier 3 as well. Tier 4 is okay-ish, only gets you like these few squads out, and of course, where is it? Did I forgot to put Avatar of Cain here? Here it is, Avatar as well, which is what you can get in tier 4, but if you see what other factions get in tier 4, this is not the strongest. Your Titans, of course, are really strong as well, which are more or less tier 4, you can say, your heavy, super heavies and your first Titan. These are strong, but I say tier 2.5 is where you stay for the most part. Spamming units, getting all the upgrades, and yeah, try to win in tier 2.5. If you're not winning in tier 2.5, go to tier 3, get these more support platforms and maybe these interceptors. Seer Council, and maybe a leader here, and then go from there, which is also good. Tier 4 is nothing you want to aim for the long run. You want to win earlier, at least in my book. If you're an Eldar main player and tell something different, please give me your knowledge in the comments. The units, yeah, I have talked about all the abilities earlier as well. Here, this is the Mysticism upgrade, and you see that Mysticism benefits quite a lot of different leaders, including the leaders for your Wraith Blade and Wraith Guard units, as well as your the Warlock leader for your bikes. You can see here has a lot of benefits. Fleet of Foot, you can see almost every unit has it. Some units have now plasma grenades as well, but everything else is mainly focused hidden behind tier 2. And the certain aspect stones, of course, you need to get to have the leaders. Something I haven't tested, but I don't think is available, is the passive abilities for Farseer Maka. Actually, I will test this after this recording, and will have either a passive ability for this fortune or not. Sadly not tested, and this one I haven't connected. Oh my god, I need to do this. Sorry about that. This one will be updated. If you look after this video in the Google Drive, this will be updated and not look so silly here. Yeah, but that's the Techtrees basically out of the way. And now we will jump over to the build orders I have prepared for you. And here we are in the build order document. The build order document, as usual, is you have on the top the buildings, and from top to bottom the units and upgrades you get for the buildings. Everything top left from this line is something you want to build immediately. Everything on the bottom or right from it you want to build once you have a few listening posts. And all my build orders end when you get to the tier 2 or initiate your tier 2 process. As usual, you want to get a second builder because you want to have your aspect portal for the most part as fast as you can get, and get a generator. Then you get the Dark Reaper stone, get 2 Dark Reapers, 2 Guardians, and Fleet of Foot for capping. And these ones can cap nearby points or just be annoying to the enemy. Then you may or may not get some Rangers or a Farseer out, and want to get one or both leaders for your Dark Reapers to increase your damage per second, and then get a decently timed tier 2 with 1 plasma generators. This is the standard build, which I call standard. The standard about it is a decently timed tier 2. These standard build orders aren't necessarily the best build orders. Then you have one very popular and very effective build order, the Dark Reaper Spam, where you get basically a lot of Dark Reapers, no generator in the beginning, so you can only get 1 Exarch for them. So you want to have it on the first squad, of course. The other power you have goes into Fleet of Foot, which you of course need. You then can also add a Web Brigade to get more cap out and get another Dark Reaper squad, or everything with your Dark Reaper Exarchs once you get more plasma generators. So you have them then 4 really strong early units you can pressure quite a lot, get some more generators before you can hit tier 2. The next one is a opener which I've kind of found for the Farseer Maka. As I said, she is melee based, so you need to get an aspect portal and a web brigade, so you have a little more resources you need to spend early. That's why I suggest you get like a few more Dire Rangers with plasma grenades. Plasma grenades are useful if you get more Guardians and actually involve them into fighting. And later I found it useful to get 1 Banshee squad to be able to attach your Farseer Maka to, so she is not as exposed in the beginning, so you have a little melee presence with that. Some 1 or 2 plasma generators before you hit tier 2. This one is one of my favorite openers because it's so special. It's a Farseer Eldritch opener. You get a Guardian first, not a builder, and run it as fast as you can to the nearest critical location. So this opener does not work on every map. You need to have a map where your critical locations are more or less a little closer to your base than you on your average map. let's say on a meeting of minds, it's, for example, a bit difficult because the critical locations are very far away, but on, let's say, moon base, where you have a critical very close to your position, this works very well. So you get a Guardian out, a Builder and 2 more Guardians, and initiate your Fleet of Foot research, of course. You will first build this generator. Build this generator first, so it accumulates more power. Then you get your aspect portal and get 1 squad of Dark Reapers out. You have some presence on the map. Get your web brigades out, and as soon as you have the critical, you should have 300 power, because this Farseer Eldred costs 300 power, 200 requisition. So as soon as you get a critical, you should have enough power to get him out. He, as I explained in the unit overview already, is quite a powerhouse, has very a lot of useful abilities, which also can make your Guardians very powerful in early game. So I suggest you get the plasma grenades upgrades for them, and then reinforce also your melee, your squads, your force with another Dark Reaper or Ranger squad. Some more power generators, plasma generators before you hit tier 2. Very cool opener in my book. Then you have opener where you get like Guardians with grenades. Guardians with grenades is basically you skip the aspect portal for the most part. You get plasma generators, get a lot of Guardians with Fleet of Foot and grenades. So basically all 10 unit cap full of Guardians with grenades. You can just swarm the enemy, you could say. You get the aspect portal, and then a quick after tier 2. You will not want to get the warlocks for them. If you want warlocks, you have this build order, which is even more focused on tier 1 as well, with a lot of Guardians. You get 3 Guardians with warlocks, later on Fleet of Foot and grenades. You get a Farseer, so you have something to work with as well, and then later on you get Dark Reapers or Rangers to support your squad, but you have a stronger opener because you have plasma grenades right away. Some more generators before you hit tier 2. Then you have your more or less tier 2 rush, which got a little nerfed, so you no longer can get the Soul Shrine without the aspect portal. That is why I have the aspect portal here as well. So this is a little nerf to Eldar. Most people considered it a little broken that you can't get tier 2 without the barracks build. The barracks only costs 100 requisition, so it's not the biggest nerf in the world. It's mostly the time the builders need to build it. You get a second builder to be able to build this fast enough, 2 Kappa squads and another squad, because you want to double build your Soul Shrine and have another builder to build your listening post. Fleet of Foot gets delayed a bit, so you have enough power for your Soul Shrine. Lastly, I have 2 more standard non-optimal builds. You have, I call it hero carries. If you have the hero war build, war gear enabled, you can get a Farseer centered build where you get 3 Guardians with Fleet of Foot, get the Farseer out, and immediately get the upgrades for her, more or less immediate. You have time. The first one is really good, and the second one as well. You can also get this soul, what is it called again? Soulstone, which makes her not die, but it's really expensive and not the best in the early stages in the game where you can really micro them. And then I would say you have your Guardians as your ranged units, and then you get 1 Banshee to let your Farseer with all the health buffs you get from these be your melee force. And then later on you get tier 2 after you get more plasma generators as usual. This is only possible, of course, with the hero war gear enabled, so it's not always possible. For the most part, it's not possible, and yeah, it's also not the most optimal way to play. And then I have another really cheesy build that also not works for the most part. It's the turret relocate. It's not a turret rush, it's a turret relocate. So you get a really early web brigade with 3. You get second builder to get this web brigade and a plasma generator, 3 Guardians, get your third builder out as well, because you want to have a builder in the enemy base shortly after. Get a Wraith Tomb to stun enemy listening posts and defensive turrets, and get Fleet of Foot later. you get a aspect portal and then 2 turrets, you could say. Then you get, with the first builder that is not shown here, you teleport into the enemy base, get a web brigade out and relocate these turrets in. While they are relocating in, they are not kittable. I told you before, they're only targetable once they are already in. Later you can build more turrets in the base and relocate them in, but what is also very useful is to get some Dark Reapers to support you, which you can put in the web brigade in your base and move them over to the web brigade in the enemy base and have them as a fighting force. Your guardians will want to join earlier as well, and as you get more infantry to the enemy and around your web brigades, you want to have these health regeneration aura from the web brigade as well, which is really useful. Works against AI, of course. Works not against most players, because if you put so much resources in static defense and put it in the enemy base or near the enemy base, you don't want to put it smack bang in the middle. You want to put it somewhere where it denies 1 and if possible 2 points of the enemy. But if you have all your efforts in your base, in the enemy base, your base is undefended. So what a normal player, a better player will do, will just ignore these turrets and move to your base and destroy all your stuff, and then you're screwed. So keep that in mind. If you're facing this, just ignore the turrets for the most part. The relocation cooldown is really low, really high, so you cannot just relocate it to the enemy base, and when you see, oh my god, my base is detected, I relocate them back. No, not possible. Not as fast, at least. So a little heads up, if you face this, you can deal with them more or less easily. So this is very cheesy. Something I would like to play, to be honest. I like cheesy builds. So this is one I would enjoy as well. So, as usual, we end these guides with a little replay. I got actually 2 replays from Rex from the Discord community. I will only show one and maybe cast another on my casting series. We'll look into the games. So I don't know exactly what awaits us, but this is all the fun, I guess. So see you there. And here we are on the replay where we see Rex playing Eldar against Huntington playing Space Marines. Huntington actually said he doesn't want me to show this replay because he is still learning Space Marines. Huntington is in a mid-skill player, similar to Rex, I would say. Rex is a little more experienced, but we will not judge you. We will only look at Rex, so all eyes on Rex. He actually built a Guardian Squad before the second builder. It's a slight adjustment on what I how should I say, recommended to you. So a slight adjustment here. Let's see what he goes. He goes for Ranger, okay, a Ranger opener. Something I did not have on my list because I find it for the most part not as good. It can work especially against Space Marines because Space Marines are very sturdy, so your Dark Reapers can have problems with going through their armor. So having ranged squads just killing their morale, making them not be able to fight effectively can work. Other than that, you see the 2 Guardian Squad capping order for Eldar normally, or like 99 of the time, is your closest points first. This is mainly because of fleet of foot. You do not want to waste walking time to a far point without fleet of foot when you can have fleet of foot later. So this is something you want to have. And he also goes for infiltration. So maybe I should add a Ranger opener. You will see one thing the Rangers have going for them, you see here, is a really wide vision range. So they work kind of in junction with Dark Reapers, which have high range but not high vision range. So they can also work as spotters, as you would suggest. Let's see if they can actually kill workers here. You can see here they actually be able to decap here. The proximity of a capped relic point is detected, but once it's decapped, they cannot detect. Actually, an Assault Marine opener, which is something you can go against Eldar, which is actually pretty good. If Rex would have gone for Dark Reapers, for example, And you can see here the damage against infantry is pretty good. The damage against heavy infantry is probably not as good. Let's see. Rex is fighting or sniping of scouts and servitors, which is just mean. We have on his side no real action yet. Actually getting a support platform, which is perfect. He saw the Assault Marines and used his information to get a support platform. So I would imagine Huntington will some sort attack its base, but this one got upgraded, I assume. Is it upgraded? No, it's not. So this would be the weak spot here. Other than that, he is more or less free to roam with his rangers as long as there are no server skulls. Server skulls are really cheap and you can get from a listing post, so this would be the natural counter. There's the first one, but will probably get sniped as it's outside here. Or will it? The Assault Marines are now able to fight these rangers, but the rangers already have done their job. They killed one or two, they killed one full squad of scouts, decimated second squad, and also killed a worker or two, I guess, and now can run away. So they are more of a harassment unit, as you would suggest. Their health isn't the greatest, so he delayed the Space Marine quite a bit and continues to be a nuisance. Oh, two Assault Marines now. This is a heavy commitment to tier 1 by Huntington here. We will see if it pays off. I imagine, yes, third plasma generator, and yeah, he will be able to get tier 2 momentarily here and have a really good tier 2 timing against Assault Marines. Assault Marines in tier 2 will probably have not the best time in their life, and yeah, the Skull Probe micro is like really not easiest to do. Actually, a Howling Banshee, is he actually trying to win against Assault Marines in melee? You will not. They use the washout. Is he tier 2 already? How they could not use washout if he's not tier 2. Am I missing something here? Am I blind? No, he's not tier 2. The washout is nothing they can use. Maybe it's just a generic shout they do when entering melee combat. Yeah, it's probably just that he's not tier 2 yet. He, if he's tier 2, they can be very potent though. They've the shout enabled all the time. Another generator. So the question is now, yeah, there's tier 2 on the way. Getting some upgrades, getting another Bone Singer out to get tier 2 faster. Actually, the Howling Banshees with the support of the Rangers managed to outdamage the Assault Marines. I'm not sure how this was able, to be honest, because you could click one Assault Marine on the Howling Banshees and another one on the Ranger squad, and this would be all fine, I guess. Put them on red stands and right click on them and then forget. The only thing you need to micro is your Skull Probe, which he now attached to your scouts, which is really nice, so it cannot be target fired, which is something I was thinking of earlier, so really nicely done here. Now, the Banshees deal more damage than I thought. Wow. I didn't think they would be good in tier 1 or anything. So he's now on the way to tier 2, has this Dark Reaper aspect, and getting another support platform. This is a mistake. You have all the momentum in the enemy base, no need to double down on defense now, to be honest. Getting Wraith Tomb is good, getting a Dark Reaper is also good, to have some more ranged DPS now. There's only melee DPS in these Banshees. These Rangers are mainly anti-morale. I don't think this is wise, because you lose quite a lot of models in the process, and this could be repaired. I have another Guardian Squad watching these guys to decap, because he has the timer going. They were better off defending this point here. This is really costly, because the Banshees do not have the upgrades. That's, if he would wait it for tier 2, now he gets it. Looks at this one. Upgrades. Increases armor of Howling Banshees, making them modular. Upgrades the power source of Howling Banshees to do more damage. Increases the movement speed of Howling Wind. Upgrades Howling Banshees Exarch. Allows them to use the War of Shout ability. Provides a speed bonus when charging melee combat. So this is like an overall increase in effectiveness for Howling Banshees. So if you plan to use Banshees, use this always. Now he has the Reapers in tier 2, and Warlock here as well needs to get after this immediately. Okay, he goes for full on melee bait, gets the reinforced armor, which look at the health, and this is without reinforced armor. These are Banshees, and the Exarch here as well. Where is she? You see her? Yeah, this Exarch with the big sword here, big spear. The big spear does a lot of damage, so really nicely done. Probably needs to decap this one, but this is more or less over. You have the Bone Singer, which can now use a Rave Tomb as well. Also using the sword here, pulling out the sword and attacking this barracks here. Now the Assault Marines coming back, but it's probably too late. They want to fight here, but I don't think they can. These Banshees are now tier 2 and fully upgraded. Just a little sneak peek. Yeah, he's nowhere near 2 because he got his economy got delayed as much. Cry of War used. The Rangers will hurt a bit, but he also has the armor upgrade almost done. Support platform. So this is now Rex game. From now on out, he has now the armor upgrade as well. This has 7,000 HP. Jesus, 700 HP on one Banshee around-ish. So this is now one. Yeah, it's only 2 Assault Marine squads and 1 Scout Marine. So these are not getting anything done. Good micro on the Dark Exarch. Also has now a Harlequin out to even more force the melee superiority. Can, how should I say, use the Kids of Death to kill a model and deal quite a lot of damage. Can use the Dance of Death, Dance of War, whatever it's called, to do a lot of disruption. So this is over now. Also gets a Falcon. And what else? Upgrade. So yeah, this is now Rex game here. We may quit it here, or may fast forward a bit to see if there are any more units shown here. We have now a Falcon. You hear this bright lens firing, so this is now the way where you can force in here. You could also use the Raid Zoom, which I would recommend to use it on the Bolter turret. The turret does more damage than the listening post, so use it on that. Does he use the abilities? Yeah, this was the Kiss of Death. They were too far away, so the damage to the squad wasn't the biggest. Oh, there's tier 2 actually for Huntington as well now, but as I said, he's probably too much behind now with the Falcon. Little slip up on the micro with the Dark Reapers. He has a very difficult micro army composition. He has Rangers, he has Banshees, he has a Falcon, he has Dark Reapers. So the Dark Reapers ideally would be tucked in the Falcon here, and then chuck in and out from the Falcon here. So this would be the perfect micro, but I can totally see why he slips, because he has so many different stuff now. He has now a Web Brigade right in the middle of the enemy base. This is more or less a little flex, probably. Ah, yeah, it's a support platform, so he may want to put support platforms into his enemy, but he also gets the tier 3 research now. There's this cool Razorback Ricarius, but the anti-vehicle capabilities of his Falcon tank, once prepared, should suffice. No, but the Eldar, the Banshees can do with the Exarch also some anti-vehicle damage, so this would be a way. Other than that, I recommended to you guys the also a little bad choice to do the upgrade here, not on the upgrade on his main base, getting the D-cannon upgrades. I recommended to you to get the, what I call Shadow Spectres. Shadow Spectres are really good. He goes for the Wraith Lord, which is also anti-vehicle. Now gets Striking Scorpions. Didn't he go for one as well before? Oh, it's Guardians. I thought he had one before. Maybe he got the Aspect Stone, I think, but didn't build it. Now gets, a Fire Dragon, but this is more of a vanilla behavior. In Unification, I would 100% recommend what do you call again? Shadow Spectres. Shadow Spectres are your main thing to have. Did he go Wargear Enhanced? I'm not sure if this is like the tier, no, this is the tier 2 optics, so he forgot to get the optics. as I said, a little slip up that I do as well. He prioritized the Banshee upgrades, which is, I think, was the right call, but he forgot to get the targeter upgrade in tier 2 for his sorry, his dire, basically his full army, but mostly benefited by the Dark Reaper. Now he has Eldar Ultron here, this male Eldar Farsi, which has a lot of different abilities you need to be able to use. Now the Wraith Lord will move in here, probably better off getting a Bright Lance. Yeah, would have been better. But he can also just ignore this fortified position here and just go for the main base, I guess. Now has the optics up, so this should be short work here. Reinforcement by striking squadrons, basically getting all units in the book by now, getting more upgrades all over the place. Tier 3, so he should get mysticism. So is he going for the fighter? Oh no, we have the warlock, the Seer Council. I'm not sure why he's chuck in the web brigade, as there's no other web brigade. Ah, there is on the right side. He also gets Phoenix Lord Margon Ra, which I told you gets a big damage boost for give me a second, for your Dark Reapers. The Eldar Ultron is also really good at range. Do not need to tuck him into melee combat. He can also use his pistol. He has to do quite a lot of damage. Or has he a pistol? Yes, he has a pistol. So he can also be attached to Dark Reapers if you so desire. Okay, a little fight back from the Space Marine actually with this Ricarius here, but mainly this is because Rexkin is not using his forces at one particular squad. With this here council, he would normally be able to just kill everything here. Did he lose his Dark Reapers? It sure looks so. What does he go for here? Oh, there's Margon Ra. Now needs another Dark Reaper squad to put him on. He has now the Seer Council attached to the Farseer. Elsewhere, this is like really good. Guardians killed, Ranger squad alive. These are your striking scorpions, which are infiltrated, but you have also the Skull Probe here, as well as they were close to the strategic point. Gets the Fortune upgrade, which does not, I repeat, does not benefit, I think does not benefit your Seer Council. Correct me if I'm wrong, if the Fortune upgrade also works on your other two Farseers, but I think it does not. Striking Scorpions with Fleet of Foot activated, attacking here, they should, yes, now they are turned it off. A little slip up on the tier 2 execution, tier 3 execution. Fire Dragons is not the right choice. You need to have now, getting now these platforms here. All the platforms you can have basically. Overwatch them. I think the limit is 2 or 3 each, so you want to have them all, especially the anti-vehicle variants now, if you see this Ricarius, so you can actually finish the game. That's something some Eldar players also struggle to finish the game against like this very defensive position here. I mean, he is tier 3, so he can now walk in with the Seer Council. Other than that, the move he did earlier, putting them attack on one side and on the other side as well, and chuckle where the enemy is not, is the play to go normally. But yeah, now you see this Dark Reaper here attached to their leaders. They get this little aura around them and will deal damage big time now. This is now the death push here. Using the active ability on the Eldar Ultron to increase the damage and durability of all units for quite some time. So these are now hitting harder and are not dying. It also uses the little projection, which can also deal damage. I'm not sure if you use Doom as well on this Ricarius. I would have probably recommended to use it, and I am sure he did use it so that he can deal with this pesky little Razorback here. But yeah, that's all she wrote. Well played by both players still. Huntington said this is not the best performance, but he did well for him, saying he just is learning Space Marines, so he did well. Got a little outplayed in the beginning with these Rangers. Rangers can work or can backfire. These are little roll the dice if the enemy is quick in dealing with them or not. Yeah, but tier 3 Eldar with the upgrades and everything is no joke as well. Yeah, as usual guys, with these guides is if I have forgot something, if you knew something more than I do, if I have told you some bullshit, please correct me in the comments. Yes, I'm still learning SM, yes. Please correct me in the comments if you have some valuable insight. I will pin your comments so other viewers can read that and learn it as well. Other than that, I would highly suggest to subscribe to my channel for more guide videos, for casts, for basically everything you want to have for Unification, even a Let's Play in German, though, as I'm a native German speaker. Whew, a lot of talking as usual in my guides, so as the standard ending, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye!